Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the 5 Rounds podcast, the only podcast out there with the cardio for those deep water championship rounds. I am Mags and I am hot off just watching UFC 265, headlined by Ciryl Gane and Derrick Lewis for the Interim Heavyweight Title. But before we get to that main card, let's quickly just run through these early prelims and the featured prelims. So we started the night with Johnny Munhoz picking up the second round sub over Jamie Simmons in the bantamweight division. Then in the women's flyweight division, Melissa Gatto picked up the second round knockout of Victoria Leonardo. Going back to the men's bantamweight division for Miles Johns and the third round knockout of Anderson Dos Santos, and what a brutal knockout it was as well. The last of the early prelims ended with Manel Cap getting the first round knockout with a flying knee on Ode Osborne. Going into the feature prelims, we started the recording with Jessica Pena picking up the first round armbar sub on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And then we got a brutal war with Alonzo Menifield picking up the decision against Ed Herman in the light heavyweight division. We then went back to the bantamweights yet again with Vince Morales getting the decision over Draco Rodriguez. And then we ended the prelims with Bobby Green losing by a decision to Rafael Fiziev. And I think in that Bobby Green can feel a little bit aggrieved. I thought that Fiziev basically has walked away very, very luckily from that fight. But this card had 5 main fights on it, and it would have had 6, but unfortunately earlier in the week, Amanda Nunes, she reported that her and her family had positive tests for COVID. So her title match with Juliana Pena was cancelled. A little bit of controversy in that, with Pena claiming that she has seen Nina and Amanda putting on their Instagrams about a negative test, and she actually went to an open press conference and was actually in the crowd and spoke to Dana White, asking him a question about whether it was true that the fight has been rebooked for December. Dana did not look happy, but I think Juliana come away with more questions than answers. But going into this main card, we started with Casey Kenny taking on Song Yadong. This was a very partisan crowd. Song Yadong getting roundly booed out of the building. But for Song, he did well to not let it affect him and actually took this fight quite cleanly for me. A couple of judges gave it 29-28 to Song. One judge gave it 29-28 to Casey Kenny, and the third judge gave all 3 rounds to Song Yadong for the split decision. But for me, the fight was much more clean cut than that. All the way through the fight, this was Song really kind of attacking the body with those really punchy kicks, to the point where Casey's left hand side was all bright red from his chest to his to the back when the feet were swinging around and catching him in the rib area. In terms of strikes, Casey Kenny did well and landed quite a few of his own, but the speed and the accuracy from Song Yadong really kind of made a difference. And by the end of the first round, you could really see how Song was punishing Casey in the ribs and in the face with a cut over the nose. in the second round, and it was back to exactly the same thing. Kenny trying to gain some momentum, getting some kicks to the body, but Song was ready for it and landing bigger kicks of his own. Kenny kind of like woke up a little bit in this second round, going for more kind of different shots, but Song was just able to kind of keep that pace going up for pretty much all three rounds. There was no let up from the young Chinaman. And going into the third, there was a bit of a worry for Song at one point when he went to level change and got a knee to the face, and unfortunately Kenny wasn't able to kind of capitalise on it, and Song was able to stuff the takedowns. In fact, I think all the way through the whole fight, every takedown that Kenny went for, Song was able to sprawl and stuff before taking the fight back to the feet and started landing the shots again and really kind of tearing Casey Kenny up. And it wasn't actually until the last 10 seconds or so that Kenny was able to get a successful takedown and was able to just land some shots from the top. Unfortunately, it was very much too little too late, and Song Yadong was able to pick off the split decision victory. So then going into the second fight on the main card here in the women's strawweight division this time, Angela Hill trying to break the record of Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the most amount of octagon time in this strawweights division, and she was also trying to get a win back over someone who gave her first ever loss in the UFC, Tecia Torres. Unfortunately for Angela, she just was not able to at all, getting pretty much dominated in the whole of this fight. Torres was just quicker, stronger, faster, more accurate, and more dynamic and mixed with the shots that she was taking, able to really kind of mix up with the kicks and then the 1-2 jabs and then landing the takedowns as well. Hill was good in the first round in sprawling against those takedowns, but in terms of the shots, she just wasn't able to get enough of her work off compared to Torres, who was using that really good accuracy to put Angela Hill on the back foot. Going into the second, and it's a lot of the same thing with Tecia Torres taking the impetus with kicks, and as Angela tries to get in and start doing some dirty boxing, Torres is able to really do well and counter that. There was a point pretty early on in the second round where Tecia Torres throws a kick and Angela Hill is able to catch it and land a big shot, but unfortunately there was just not enough capitalising on that from Angela, and Tecia is able to land a few punches of her own and basically get the clinch, get pressed up against the fence, and start scoring shots in the clinch. Going into the third round, and again, as with the first two, Tecia Torres is taking the lead. She's opening the round with kicks to the body. Hill fires back, only to be attacked with low kicks. Hill uses her strength to try and push Torres up against the fence, and is unable to really kind of keep that pressure on. And Hill is Torres is able to take that back to the middle of the octagon. She shoots him for a takedown, but he's unable to really get enough power and speed in the takedown, and Hill's able to sprawl it quite easily. Torres kind of started to get a little bit more cocky and confident, trying a spinning elbow, bit of a Judas effect, but unfortunately wasn't able to land, and Hill gives her a little bit of a what for from that with a kick and a couple of punches. That didn't really kind of put Tecia Torres off though, and she attempts another spinning elbow, which again doesn't land, and Hill's able to score a clinch from it. Getting into the middle of the octagon now over the last few seconds, Tecia is able to score a takedown, get a few strikes on the ground to give the judges something to really think about. But in all, I think the judges gave the right decision, and Tecia Torres goes 2-0 up against Angela Hill. So going into the third fight on the card, and for me, one of the fights that I was looking forward to the most, Michael Chiesa and Vicente Luque, both fighters looking to stake a claim for a potential welterweight title matchup against Kamaru Usman. And it started off as brightly as I expected. Michael Chiesa kind of circling the outside of the octagon, whilst they both feel each other out in terms of ranges. Luque actually throws the first shot with a low kick. Chiesa easily avoids and circles away. He lands a good left of his own, and he's really starting to try and fire those 1-2s in and outs to keep Vicente Luque guessing. He lands a good combination shot which opens a cut under Luque's left eye, and then Luque fires back with a right hand that knocks Chiesa to the ground. Chiesa back on his feet instantly though, and then goes for the takedown, going for the rear naked choke. Luque is able to fend that off. Chiesa though doesn't give up and ends up putting himself in a little bit of danger, and then Luque reverses the position and locks in a Darce choke. Chiesa really attempts to try and escape. You can see him really kind of scrambling and trying to switch up his body. But unfortunately, this choke was in tight, and everything that Michael Chiesa was doing just tightened and cinched that choke up even more. He was not able to get out of it, and he taps for the first round victory for Vicente Luque, who straight after his win decides to call out the champion. And I mean, I would not argue with wanting to see that fight. That's a very interesting fight for me. So yeah, good win there for Vicente Luque. Into the co-main event now, and it's two legends of the bantamweight division, Jose Aldo taking on Pedro Munhoz, and I have no kind of no bones about it. I have predicted Jose Aldo's downfall for quite a while now. I think after the 3-fight loss streak that he went on, I think not just me but many in the MMA community thought that this was the end for Jose Aldo, that he was kind of like winding his career down. But after picking up the victory earlier this year, and then going into this fight against Pedro Munhoz, it was a lot of the Jose Aldo of old, the Jose Aldo that dominated the featherweight division for so long. Quick with his jabs and quite sparing with the leg kicks that he's so well known for. At least in the first couple of rounds, there wasn't as many of those kind of punishing leg kicks that he uses to great effect. And fair play to Pedro Munhoz as well. He gave as good as he got. This was very much a chess match of a battle. Jose landing hard shots to the body, and every time that Jose threw something, Pedro fired back with a shot of his own, whether that was a high kick or whether it was punches to the body or jabs to the face. The problem was that for Pedro Munhoz that Aldo was hitting hard and hitting quick. And Pedro was just maybe for every 3 punches he was eating, he was only for every 3 shots he was eating, he was landing only 2 of his own. And eventually that numbers game really does kind of catch up with you. And going into the second, you could see that Jose felt really comfortable, was very light on his feet, in and out, landing combination shots, mixing up the punches and the kicks to the body. And then going into the third round, that's when we saw Jose Aldo revert to type, landing more and more of those vicious leaning leg kicks that really kind of hurts his opponent. For the whole of the third round, you could see how he was putting more and more effort into the kick, to the point where there was a kick that literally knocks Pedro Munhoz off his feet. He doesn't stay down for long. He's back up, and on the way back up eats a right, which opens up a cut over his left eye. That was kind of like a target then for Jose Aldo, who was landing more and more shots on that left eye, and then mixing up with the leg kicks over and over. Pedro still wasn't kind of like backing down. He was still able to press, but he started to get a little bit gun shy coming into the last few seconds, and Jose was really kind of starting to tear up Pedro Munhoz now, landing combination after combination. Unfortunately the buzzer went to signify this was going to the judges, and yet again the judges giving it unanimously to Jose Aldo, who's really kind of returned to form after that 3-fight loss streak, and he said he wants another run at being champion. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this shows in the rankings of where Jose is going to be, especially after he was soundly outclassed in the title fight that he probably shouldn't have got, but now he's got more kind of experience under his belt here at bantamweight. Who knows how this division's going to lie once we get Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan back at in the title picture. Can Jose kind of sit back and wait to see how the dust settles there? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to watch. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on that. Now going into the main event, the fight, this whole card was built around the homecoming of Derrick the Black Beast Lewis to H-Town, Houston, Texas. Remember that this fight is for the interim title. It was originally going to be for the World Heavyweight UFC title, but Francis Ngannou wanted some extra time to prepare, and Dana White wasn't willing to give up this Houston crowd for a Derrick Lewis title fight. So by hook or by crook, we're here with a title on the line, an interim title. Whether we like it or not, it's what happened. And Ciryl Gane, who's been on an absolute tear going into this fight, and 6-0, 5-0 in his UFC career, 8-0 in his MMA career, and pretty much unbeaten in his kickboxing career, up against a heavy fan favourite, Derrick Lewis. never going to be the most athletic fighter in the heavyweight division, but he hits like an absolute tank, and he's always got that brutal knockout power. Unfortunately, he didn't show it in this fight. The crowd, like I said in the opening fight on this main card, were incredibly partisan. I mean, Ciryl Gane was heavily booed, and Derrick Lewis, Houston treated him as they should, like one of their own, a real kind of homecoming for the guy, and unfortunately he wasn't able to pull out the victory today for his hometown crowd. He started off really kind of he wanted to finish this fight pretty early through an early head kick, but unfortunately fell off balance, which gives Gane the opportunity to land a right hand. The thing with Lewis is always he waits for the opportunity to land those big shots. He's never going to be someone who point scores in fights. He's never going to be someone who taps away with jabs and the leg kicks. And that was his downfall in this fight, because that's how Gane really kind of dominated the opening couple of rounds by essentially stalking Derrick Lewis, quickly getting his shots off, and then quickly getting out to avoid those potential big shots from Derrick Lewis. The leg kick was an incredibly effective tool for Ciryl Gane in this fight, and the problem was Derrick Lewis just didn't throw enough to worry Ciryl Gane that much. When he threw a head kick, it was easily telegraphed, so Ciryl was able to block it. I think until the last few seconds of the fight, Derrick only actually had 3 significant shots landed. There was a little bit of a incidents in this first round. Lewis landed a low blow, and then not long after, Ciryl Gane landed a huge shot to Lewis's left eye. Lewis claimed it was an eye poke. It wasn't. It was nowhere near an eye poke. The slow motion shows that it was a bold fist, which landed directly on the eye. Coming out for the second, and Lewis actually was he looked like he was actually much more light on his feet, bouncing around a lot. Finally lands a decent kick, but again he was kind of taken out of his game plan by just not being able to get close enough to Ciryl Gane to land anything big, and Gane was able to eat away at Lewis with the leg kicks, and they were causing more and more damage. You could see that Lewis was kind of crippling, and it was the leg kicks were folding him quite a few times. When we get towards the middle and the end of this first round, Ciryl Gane clinches a lot more. He's feeling more confident that he can withstand Lewis's power. Lands a couple of elbows, couple of knees, and then when they separate, Gane is quickly out of range, so Lewis can't land those big heavy shots. Lewis he attempted a couple of jump style, crane style head kicks, which didn't really come off, and actually left him open to eat kicks of his own. So then going into the third and what would end up being the final round, Gane really kind of started to turn up the heat, landed those outside leg kicks which had worked so well in this in the opening 2 rounds, and there was absolutely no reason to not continue with those leg kicks because they were so effective. And then Gane was able to kind of see that Lewis was fading, started to get in closer, clinch against the fence, landing knees to the body, landing some good uppercuts. Lewis tried to take the fight to the ground. Unfortunately, was not able to, and that let Gane have the opportunity to land a good couple of uppercuts that really kind of rocked Lewis. But Lewis is 99% heart, and he was just not for going down to those. Unfortunately, he just was sapped of energy, and the crowd was sapped of energy. And Ciryl Gane saw that Lewis was fading, and was starting to pour on the strikes now, really kind of going into a slugging fest with Lewis. He ends up Lewis ends up eating a punch that sends him down to his knees. Gane just follows up and starts ground and pounding, whilst Lewis is essentially turtled up against the octagon wall, and he is. The referee, Dan Melgata, calls a stoppage, and the crowd fell deathly silent, and we have a new interim world heavyweight champion in the UFC. So we're going to eventually see Ciryl Gane taking on Francis Ngannou, the battle of the French native fighters. That's going to be a really interesting fight. Both really good with kickboxing, and both hit like absolute trucks. So that's going to be a really good fight to watch if the UFC can sort out the issues with fighter pay that seems to be plaguing them recently. So yeah, that's all done bar the shouting for UFC 265. A really interesting card with a good end to the main event. Unfortunately for the hometown boy, he was just not able to pull off the victory. But there's no UFC event next week. We get a week's break. Thank the Lord, because it's been absolutely just a long slog with UFC, so it'd be cool to have a little bit of a refresher. But when we do come back, we've got a middleweight bout with Jared Cannonier taking on Kelvin Gastelum, so that'll be an interesting fight to watch in the tail end of August. So yeah, definitely tune in for that. But just because there's no UFC event doesn't mean there won't be any fire rounds content. You know that we always bring the content, UFC event or not. So definitely tune in next week to see what Carlos and I, if Carlos is available, to see what content we bring out. But thank you all for listening along. I'd like to draw your attention to our amazing networks who give us this platform to bring you this content week in, week out. So that's the guys over at Visionaries Global Media, the guys here at Radio Tekkers, and the amazing team over at The Chair Shot. Definitely go and give those people a follow. Go and check out the amazing content that they all put out. It's a real honour to work with these teams on a weekly basis, and they push us here at Five Rounds to be better content providers for you. So I hope that you enjoyed, and I will speak to you all again very, very soon.
Big time. Trying to finish.